Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Prince-Wright from NBCSports.com, ProSoccerTalk. Thanks for joining me for this watch-along for Liverpool against Tottenham, of course. The main aim of this is to get together, have a beer, have some snacks, watch this game. I know around the world right now, we can't go to the pub with our mates in many areas or watch the game with others that we love as we usually would. So the whole idea is for us to get together, chat in the comments section. I'm going to drop a link so you can watch the game. And yeah, let's go through a team news. The teams are out in North London. Tottenham against Liverpool is going to be a beauty of a game. So here's the stream link. And this is going to be a really interesting game, of course. To go through some of the notes, some surprising team news for both teams. Fabinho's out injured, looks like just a small injury for him. But that means Liverpool got more defensive problems. So Henderson and Joel Matip are at centre-back. Once again, that causes them a lot of problems, and that's the last thing they need right now, isn't it, given all of the issues they've had. And in terms of Tottenham starting Doherty back there, changing things around a little bit, Jose Mourinho. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with this. It looks like a new formation, maybe. 3-4-3, so a bit of a Mourinho special, you'd have to say, as I'm looking on the screen here and seeing the teams line up and get ready for this massive game. So, yeah, idea is to grab a beer. Cheers to everyone out there. Thanks for joining in. Let me know where you're watching from in the USA and anywhere across the world. We've done a few of these watch-alongs now, and I'm always surprised by where you guys are watching from. Really far-flung destinations on every corner of the globe, as the teams are, as I said, are lined up here, and it does look like Tottenham are going with that 3-4-3 formation, and Doherty's going to have a big job to try and shut down Mo Salah. That said, though, of course, Liverpool have been struggling in recent weeks. So I got a beer, some snacks ready for the game. Let me know where you're watching from in the USA, and we are ready to roll here on NBC Sports for this watch-along. Tottenham against Liverpool. Top six clash, we can call it now. Liverpool on 34 points. Spurs just 1 point behind them. Of course, when they met earlier in the season, they're right up there at the top of the table. They're still not that far away, are they? There's still, a lot of points to be played for. A lot of teams, as we saw Man United dropping points last night. So get your score predictions in before kickoff is just about to kick off here. Get your score predictions in and let me know where you're watching from in the world. I'm going to stir the pot a little bit. I'm going for, I'm just watching here. Mourinho and Klopp before the game, a little fist bump. Managers are out. Players are ready to roll. Tottenham Liverpool, let's go. Really looking forward to this one. Okay, my score prediction. Kept you waiting. I'm going for Tottenham 2, Liverpool 1. I think these defensive injuries for Liverpool not only hurts them at the back, but of course it kind of hurts them in midfield. The link-up play in recent games, they haven't been able to get the ball to Salah, Mane and Firmino in dangerous areas, or not enough. And when they have done that, the chances have been few and far between. So I think that's a real problem for Liverpool. And I think this is all lined up for a Mourinho special for Tottenham. Obviously, beating some big teams at home this season. Arsenal, Manchester City, got a big win away at Man United. Playing with this incredible counter-attack. And Jurgen Klopp said they are a counter-attacking monster, which, yeah, it's difficult to argue with that. But the big problem for Tottenham is if they score early, what do? Do they sit back and defend, or do they just keep going for it? I would say Spurs here, this is a great opportunity for them to beat Liverpool and kind of reignite their season. So I'm going for Spurs 2-1 win, some magic from Kane and Son. A lot of you are going for a lot of goals. Hopefully there's a lot of goals. I think we've been blessed on these watch-alongs we've done over the summer and throughout this season so far. We've always had really exciting open game. I mean, I've jinxed it now, haven't I? But let's hope for a really good game in North London. Let's see where you guys are watching from. Wow, all over the place. We've got New York City, Virginia, Tanzania. Hello to you in Tanzania. Houston, Miami, Pennsylvania. Tayo Lozana says, who is the striker for Tottenham? Harry Kane, Heung-min Son and Steven Bergwijn are playing up front. And as we've kicked off here in London, and Tottenham get the ball away. Liverpool got a great attack early on. Whips it wide. Here comes Sadio Mane into the box. As per usual, James Milner is stopped by Højbjerg. Going to be a good battle in there between those two in midfield. So very exciting start already to this game. We have Essa's watching Illinois. Tails watching Orange County, New York, the Bronx. Hello to you, Richard. Apentang. Alexa's in Kansas. Charleston, Florida. West Haven, Connecticut. Chicago's in the house. Rochester, New York. Very cool. Houston as well. All right. Oh, we got Ghana, Michigan, Boston, Massachusetts, Connecticut. Wow. Fair play. California, Charlotte. A lot of places here. Okay, let's go for some of your score predictions. 5-0 Spurs, 2-1 Spurs, 3-2 Spurs, 3-2 Spurs, 1-1, 3-2 the Spurs, 4-0 Liverpool, 4-2 to Tottenham, 2-1. I'm going to say it's a lot of love for Spurs there, isn't there? A lot of you think that Tottenham are going to win, so maybe I wasn't on my own predicting a big win for Tottenham. So a few minutes into the game, get your questions in for me. We've got Morocco in the house, Houston, New Jersey, Lubbock, Utah, Zambia, New Haven, Connecticut as well. Great to have you all on here. And a lot of love for Mo Salah as well. So Liverpool started quite well, looked dangerous on the break. Salah linking up with Mane, and Mane's just put a shot wide, inches wide. Some really good link-up play there, and Mane just kind of shanked the finish, but Jurgen Klopp has applauded. He loves that effort from his team. And Liverpool looked bright early on, which, you know, looking at some of the stats before this, obviously we know that Liverpool haven't had any wins in their last 5 games, and they haven't scored in their last 4 in the Premier League. I think it's over 7 hours now without a goal. So Jurgen Klopp wants a response from his team, but saying that, Tottenham are clean through. Heung-min Son, 1-on-1, 1-0 to Tottenham. Just as we were praising Liverpool, Tottenham with their first attack of the game, once again, have scored early. Wow. Wow, this is an incredible, incredible moment. Jurgen Klopp cannot believe it. He's smiling. Looks like he wants to, you know, cry, but he's smiling. But I don't know if this is going to come back, though. VAR looks like it's having a look at it to see if Son was offside when the initial ball came through, but I don't think he was. I think it was a great give and go. Slotted it at the near post past Alisson. VAR is checking it. Drawing lines. It's always, oh, this could be tight. This could be very, very tight. Possible offside. Drama early on at Tottenham. I've got to have a sip of my beer here. On my first look, I think this is going to be ruled out for offside. The way they're drawing the lines, the longer it takes, we all know that usually, these aren't given. But what do you guys think? We got Ethiopia in the house. Ishmael says hello. VAR says a goal. No goal. No goal. Heung-min Son just offside. We knew that, right? We knew that. Early drama in this game. The Tottenham come pouring forward again. And Heung-min Son nearly gets on the end of another great pass from Harry Kane. I mean, Liverpool playing a very dangerous game here, but clearly are targeting Henderson and Matip as the 2 centre-backs who really hardly ever played together, have they? So very interesting to see, but tempo's high from Tottenham. But it's still 0-0. That goal from Son ruled out by VAR, just offside. Wow, that was very, very interesting. A lot of people are fuming with VAR there. I mean, that was close. What do we think? Do we think it was... Is that another incident where we look at it and say there should be a greater margin of error for offside? Should it be a yard? Is it ruining the game by just having a few millimeters, inches, whatever you want to call it, determine if that was offside or not? Because does it really make that much of a difference? I don't know. Offside. People were fuming. Ankle was offside. We've got a few live VAR Paul shouts, which comes up pretty much every Liverpool game. Oh, Andrew Gomez says it's too close. Got some Arsenal loving it. Alfonso, I don't know. You might get a few comments there from the Tottenham fans. Rile them up. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Jacob said first time he's seen VAR rule in Liverpool's favour in a long time. I'm sure if we look at the stats, it's pretty even. But yeah, there is a lot of theories out there, isn't there, Jacob, about which clubs seem to benefit more than others. And yeah, Liverpool responded okay. Firmino just went down on the edge of the box looking for a free kick, but nothing given. Seeing a replay of that now, there was no touch there, so that was the correct decision. Okay, we've got an interesting comment here. If it's less than a foot, then I think it should count. This is from 3762. How much is 6 inches an advantage? I kind of agree with you there. I think that I'd love to see some extra flexibility with the Premier League and other leagues around the world saying, you know, is this a foot maybe, or there has to be some kind of leeway there, because the situation where we're drawing lines and linking up elbows with the back of a heel, where's the advantage? I just, you know, it's great when we got VAR in and it makes the big calls and you know, it's clearly offside and wouldn't be given otherwise if the referee just misses it for whatever reason. But to forensically analyze every single offside and every single goal, it just takes away a little bit for me. So, okay, so Basu says, no worries, Spurs will have more chances. Yeah, and there's a lot of people there who are feeling pretty confident about Tottenham in the comments. So, again, I'm Joe Prince-Wright from ProSoccerTalk on NBCSports.com. Pleasure to join you on this wonderful Thursday, wherever you are watching in the world. And this is a very entertaining game. Looking up here on the screen, Tottenham against Liverpool. Both teams now probably, you know, Jurgen Klopp's been talking about it. I was in some of his virtual press conferences recently. He's now switched from talking about the title race to just top four. Let's try and finish in the top four. That's always the main aim. I feel like that's quite early in the season. I know we're at the halfway point, but Liverpool still, if they can sort out their attacking issues, which I never thought I'd be saying that, they can get back in this, because with all the injuries defensively, they still haven't conceded an awful lot of goals. So they just need that extra spark. And as I said, that link between midfield and attack needs to be rebuilt, doesn't it? But very open end-to-end game so far, which is good for us, right? Watching the neutrals. And let's get into some of your questions here. Sean says, is there some way to watch the game live? I'm going to pop that link in again for anybody who didn't catch it earlier. So Sean, here you go, mate. There's a link there to stream it if you're in the USA. You can stream the game. We can watch it all along together. So hence the name Watchalong. But the idea is to grab a beer, some snacks. Send me any questions you got about this game, Liverpool, Tottenham, anything in the Premier League, any other leagues, or generally just life. Let's have a chat. Oh, Liverpool nearly got the opening goal there. Header across goal. I think it was Firmino coming in at the back post, maybe. Just missed it. Great chance for Liverpool at the other end. And it's, yeah, like I said, really entertaining, open, end-to-end. Mane's cutting inside now, had a shot that's blocked. And Tottenham clear their lines. But, yeah, this is great. This is really good. Okay, question. Gavino Lopez, am I in the US or the UK? Right now, I'm in the UK. So spend a lot of time in the US and the UK. But in my role covering, just looking at Thiago Silva's headed back across. Firmino went down and saying he was held. I don't know if Liverpool looking for a penalty here inside the 6-yard box, but that does not look like a penalty kick to me. I don't know what you guys think, but no touch whatsoever. Eric Dyer's laughing at Firmino there. So yeah, I'm based in the UK, just outside of London, and I travel around, watch games, interview players, and in my role at NBC Sports, I love it. It's just brilliant. Get to watch all these games, speak to great players and managers, and then report back to everyone in the US what's going on over here. So do spend a lot of time in the US as well, kind of go back and forward. So hence my accent is not maybe as English as it once was, and a little bit of a hybrid accent going on there. So yeah, that's my story. But thanks for joining us. Pleasure to have you all with us in the comments here. What are the odds that Spurs win the Premier League? Kevin Lamore. I'd give you quite high odds right now because I do like the fact that they're so dangerous in attack, and you do always get the sense that they're going to score every game. But I do worry about them as centre-back still, Kevin. I still think that they haven't got that top class, centre-back alongside Eric Dyer that's really going to hold them together back there. And I don't know if they've got the mentality yet. They've got Højbjerg, Kane, Son, Lloris throughout the team. They've got a lot of experience, a lot of grit. But I don't know, if some of the other players yet are quite up to it in terms of grinding out wins. So they're not, top four definitely in that situation. But I think it's a bit too early for Tottenham in the title race. So Liverpool knocking the ball around nicely. Okay, Kahu says, is West Ham in Europe a possibility? Absolutely. I mean, when I'm looking at the table, it's ridiculous, right? In the top four, absolutely flying, 4 wins on the bounce for David Moyes' side, and no one predicted this at the start of the season. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they can carry it on. They get lucky with injuries, then like a lot of teams like Villa, Everton, Leicester, Southampton, all of those teams have had a really good start to the season, first half of the season. And now I'm intrigued. Is it now the time that Tottenham, Liverpool, already seen Arsenal, maybe Chelsea with their new manager, City, of course, all those big boys are now kicking on, right? Because they've got extra strength and depth with their squads. So you kind of would expect them to, in this crazy season where so many games congested in, so many different tournaments, competitions, you would expect them, right, to kick on and be title favourites or dominate the top four. Is Joe a Tottenham fan? I can confirm I am not a Tottenham fan. Who's my favourite player in the Premier League? Come back to me on that. That's a tough one. It's hard to root against, Kevin De Bruyne and how good he is as an overall player. Harry Kane, Salah, Mane, Sterling. That's difficult. That's a difficult question. Can I say more than one player? Let me know, Shrew. Kevin Lamore says we missed Jan Vertonghen. Yeah, absolutely. His experience. I was surprised that he went down. I went away early. Harry Kane's down injured, but it doesn't look too serious. But whenever he's down injured, I know Tottenham fans, you'll be holding your breath right now. But he has gone down injured, so this will be interesting to see. Walking off a bit gingerly. I think he's going to be okay, but yeah, this will be interesting. Okay, a lot of questions about Raúl Jimenez, and Wolves will be top 4 if he was fit. They'd be up there. They'd certainly be in the European picture. They've missed him massively, haven't they, since he was injured? I think they've won 1 of the last 9 games, is it now? Maybe 10. So yeah, great news that he's already training on his own. He's edging closer to a comeback. Be interesting to see, how mentally it impacts him after a fractured skull. So much of his game was about heading the ball, aerial duels, link-up play. It will be interesting to see that next step. But great news to see, because a few months ago we didn't know if he'd be coming back and playing football at all. So yeah, great to see Jimenez and Wolves. They just missed that cutting edge. See against Chelsea yesterday, they were just happy enough to get a draw, weren't they? And just, play within themselves. They know their limitations, that they aren't going to score a lot of goals at the moment. So they're kind of going back to basics. But a lot of good teams up there. A lot of good teams. Adam Tiles says, how do I feel about Manchester City? it's ominous. That's the word I'd use to start Man City at the moment. Another win, of course, absolutely flying high. 6 on the bounce now. And yeah, I got the sense once they sorted out the defensive unit, even though Aguero and Jesus have been out injured and out of form for most of the season, they've just got goals from every area of the pitch, haven't they? Midfield, De Bruyne, of course, he's injured now as well, but without him, you've got Phil Foden, you've got Sterling, Mahrez, Gundogan stepping up big. So many good players there that are really stepping up big for Manchester City. So I think it's there. I predicted them to win the title to start the season. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think they're the favourites, but I did not think that a few months ago. So after a slow start, didn't have much for a pre-season, did they, after their European exploits? So I really love the way that John Stones has stepped in and been brilliant. It's kind of like the John Stones of 4 or 5 years ago, and keeping Laporte out of the team, which he was their best defender, so I did not see that coming. But Stones and Diaz, that partnership is excellent, and that's what will win City the league, I think, as well as all they play in attack and all those attacking talents I just mentioned. They have to be solid defensively if they're going to win. So yeah, I think they're favourites by far. Bazu says, watch the battle between Højbjerg and Thiago. Yeah, that's interesting. So that segues me nicely onto some of the key battles here. Højbjerg and Thiago, Højbjerg and Milner, obviously Kane v Henderson, Salah v Doherty on that wing out wide, and as obviously Doherty's played out of position. He's normally a right back or a right wing back and is playing on the left there. I think Mourinho has seen that so he can shut down Salah and be more defensive. So those are the 3 battles. Any other key battles you guys want to look out for here? But I think we've already seen with Son, maybe will come more centrally than he usually does to get in behind Henderson and Matip, that makeshift backline, as Liverpool come forward again. But Tottenham sweep things up nicely at the back. But yeah, some really intriguing battles and 2 very evenly matched teams, I'd have to say, this season, all things considered. Gavino Lopez asks, who do I see winning the Golden Boot at the moment? Oh, that's a very good question. I think Salah, but he has obviously, that's all about if Liverpool can regain their scoring touch around him. Of course, he leads the way, but Kane and Son are right behind him. I might upset a few Man United fans by this, but if they keep getting penalty kicks the way they are, then maybe Bruno Fernandes will win the Golden Boot. I don't know what you guys think about that, but yeah, set-piece specialist, he'll probably get a lot of chances to score. And if United are going to go far and in the title bid and win the title, dare I say, then he's going to have to play well, isn't he, and score loads of goals. So, yeah, Son. Who would I rather sell? Mohamed Abdullah says, Mane or Salah? Oh, it's good questions today. You guys are coming up with some great questions. You have to sip a beer before I answer that one. I think Salah. Obviously, like I said, he brings so many goals, but Mane, it's just, as I'm talking, Mane's surging away from the Tottenham defence down the left, but he's been caught and Tottenham won it back. But that's what he gives you. He gives you that ability to, stretch teams, his pace, but not just the pace, his power to cut inside from the left flank. He links up so well with the midfield and the other forwards. And yeah, I just think he epitomizes Jurgen Klopp's play, right? So if you get rid of him, it's going to be very tough to keep that whole attacking unit together. With Salah, he's a luxury player. I've already heard those noises, right, that maybe he wants to move on to Real Madrid or Barcelona. I could totally see that happening. But with a lot of Liverpool players now, they're kind of in transition because, what a tackle. Son come flying off the left flank and big Joel Matip just came over, edged him off the ball, calm as you like. Great reading of the game, great defending there from Matip. He gets a lot of critics, maybe for his injury record, but yeah, very, very good defending there. So going back to my point on Salah, can see it happening, can see him leaving. And for Liverpool in transition, a lot of this squad now, they've won the Premier League, they've won the Champions League, they proved themselves. So, maybe they want a fresh challenge at another team in another country. Have to wait and see. But I'm interested to see how Liverpool rebuild, because I think we're obviously seeing this front three going through a few problems at the moment, and maybe, you know, we're going to see that broken up. Yeah, good point there by Logan. Sell Salah and have Jota on the left and Mane on the right. That's a good point. That's a good point. Could definitely see it. You kind of forget about Jota, right? He's been out injured for a few months now, and he was brilliant when he came in. So Liverpool definitely need to get him back. So I'm interested to see, we're halfway through the first half here, and I'm really interested to see what Mourinho and Klopp think of this, because I think both managers would be fairly happy so far. You remember we did a watch-along actually earlier on this season when Liverpool won 2-1 right at the end. Oh, Tottenham, wide open, Son, got to be a goal. Oh, he's hit it straight at Alisson. Had to score that. Glorious chance. Exactly what we always talk about at Tottenham. Couple of good passes. Alexander-Arnold was caught out of position. There was no one in the right back area. Son is clean through on goal, and he hits it straight at Alisson. So, big chance there for Tottenham to take the lead. Liverpool, again, really vulnerable on the counter-attack. So, that's what I'm saying. Early in the season, Mourinho and Klopp had a bit of a go at each other, didn't they, at the end of the game at Anfield, because Liverpool won it in the 93rd minute or whatever it was with Firmino's header. Mourinho said the best team lost and Tottenham didn't deserve to lose. Klopp didn't agree with that. Had some banter in the press over here this week where Mourinho said Klopp isn't my friend. We just, you know, we're colleagues and we're rival managers. That's it. I've got respect for him. But yeah, so for me, that just shows there is a real rivalry growing between these two teams over the last few years. At the Champions League final, Madrid, been really close in some of the top four and title battles. And I think it's going to be this way this season. I'm going to go out and say that I don't think both of these teams are going to finish in the top four, because you look above them, obviously Leicester are flying, Manchester City are flying, Man United chugging along apart from that shock defeat to Sheffield United. Arsenal could get themselves back in the picture. Who knows how Chelsea are going to be under Tuchel. West Ham, someone mentioned. So the battle for the top four is wide open. And make no mistake about it, a head-to-head game like this one tonight is going to be huge at the end of the season where it's so tight. So difference between a win and a draw here could be massive, could be absolutely massive. Who do I see winning the league from Teo? I'm going to go with Man City. I said at the start of the season. I did change to Liverpool in about, what was it, October time when they were just blowing teams away. Oh, great chance for Liverpool. And a great save from Hugo Lloris. It may be offside. The flag didn't go up. It looked like it was offside in the build-up. But Mane was clean through. Lovely clip ball over the top from Salah. Mane was outstretched, flicked it straight towards goal. And Alisson Becker came up with a good save down low. Looked like it may have been chalked off, though, for offside just before Mane had the effort. But Liverpool come flooding forward again. Milner on the ball now. It's opening up for him, but a great tackle there. I think it was Eric Dyer, Joe Rodon, one of them back there. But this game is great. So many chances. I don't know how it's still 0-0, but great chance for Son. And Thiago's just got a yellow card for taking down Højbjerg on the edge of the box. So professional foul there. Jonathan says Man United will win the league. Discuss in the comment section. Please discuss that. Mohamed Abdullah says, do I think Odegaard can be the spark Arsenal need of Ozil leaving? They need creativity after missing out on Aouar. I've seen enough of them to suggest he will be a help, yes. I'm intrigued to see the pace and power of the Premier League, how a player like Odegaard slots in, because his quality, creativity on the ball, like you said, coming off the wing for Sociedad. And I was surprised that he didn't play more for Real Madrid after his great season with Real Sociedad last season. I think this is the perfect next step as Liverpool clean through again and more great defenders. So many great opportunities clean through. Oh, nearly a terrible giveaway. Alexander-Arnold's got an edge of the box, plays it into Wijnaldum. Liverpool just Tottenham scrambling back, but bad giveaway. I think it was from Doherty there to let Liverpool in. Alexander-Arnold whips it in. Easy defending for Spurs, but Liverpool coming into this now before half-time. It's going to be interesting. But yeah, to get back to your question there on Odegaard, I think that he is a perfect Arsenal player. Arteta loves that player. We saw with Ceballos, the deep line playmaker. Of course, he's a bit further forward, but I think this is perfect for his development. You know, he's going to test himself in the Premier League. He obviously wants to play regularly at Real Madrid. Maybe that won't happen, though. Who knows? But it's a great opportunity for him, and he's going to battle it out with Emil Smith-Rowe for that central creative position. And that's a great spot to be in because you've got Saka, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Pepe's playing a little bit better. Those kind of players running off you. He's going to have a lot of options there. So yeah, I think it's a good move. And it's a shame to see Ozil go. You know, I've never quite lived up to his expectations. First few years were great. There were a couple of seasons, weren't there, where he was brilliant. But I just don't think he's been consistent enough. And kind of strange the way it ended. I really would like to find out more about that, and I'm sure we will in the years to come. But yeah, thanks for your question. Odegaard, we're in the January transfer window, only a few days of it left, but he's been pretty much one of the only notable transfers because a lot of teams aren't doing business or maybe are waiting for a late flurry of deals on loan and swap deals and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let me know in the comments who you want your club to sign in the final days of the transfer window. Why do I think Thiago is struggling? You know, I did a video on ProSoccerTalk at NBCSports.com the other day, and the other guys, analysts Nick Mandola and Andy Edwards, I was with, they were a bit shocked, but I want more from him. I expected more. I know he's been out with an injury at the start of the Liverpool career, really slow to get going, but it seems to me that he isn't able to dictate the tempo the way that he was at Bayern Munich. Maybe that's because he was in a totally dominant team and he's coming up against tougher opposition on a regular basis in the Premier League compared to the Bundesliga. But he did it in the Champions League, so I don't quite understand. I'm not sure if maybe this formation doesn't quite get the best out of him. I even kind of wrestled with the fact of, with Liverpool having these defensive injuries, could he slot back and play centre-back and then, you know, kind of go into that Van Dijk role of having the ball and spraying it around and having a bit more time on it? Because it seems like the pace of the Premier League, especially in the midfield area, he doesn't have the time or isn't adjusted yet to get that time on the ball. And we know he's the pass master. He's the player that's meant to make the difference for Liverpool in these tight games. But so far, he hasn't done it for me. So that's why I think he's struggling. I think he's struggling to find those pocket spaces. But again, great questions. We had so many great questions tonight. So keep them coming. Whatever questions you want, like I said, life, the Premier League, anything you want, wherever you are in the world, I'll answer your questions. I'll do my best to answer anything you got. Tottenham got the ball back a little bit now, whipping in a few crosses, but Liverpool look fairly comfortable in the last 5-10 minutes, but corner kick for Tottenham coming up, so let's see what happens there. All right, so for those of you watching in the USA, stream links going in to the comment section again. I know a few of you are waiting to watch the game, so click on that link and you can watch the game along with us. Okay, we've got another good question here from Mukhtar Aiden. What has happened to Liverpool's winning run? What do we think is the main problem? Regardless, I believe the Reds will win the league. Wow. Mukhtar, I think it's just been that final percent, that final spark in the final third. I don't think, even with the defensive injuries, I think they've coped with that pretty well all season. But yes, the front three have come in for a lot of stick and they have been a bit sluggish. But the main problem for me is that defensively they've been okay with this makeshift defenders. But when you're taking out, you know, Henderson or Fabinho out of your midfield, you're not only impacting your defence, you're impacting your midfield as well. You don't have that solid base to build from. You don't have, you know, that stranglehold on the game when those two are in there and winning the ball back and playing forward right away. So I think you've kind of, you know, damaged two main areas of your pitch and on the pitch and of your team. And I don't know why Liverpool didn't go out in January, at the start of January, as soon as the window opened, to go and get a centre back that, you know, could come in maybe just for the rest of the season, be it on loan or even, you know, short-term contract, or even go and sign someone like Upamecano or Koulibaly and say, maybe we're buying them 6 months ahead of time. We would have bought them in the summer to partner Van Dijk, but they just have to come in now because we need them. So to answer your question, I don't think the forwards are doing much wrong. I don't think the defence is doing much wrong. But the fact that the usual suspects aren't in midfield, I think it's just knocking everything off kilter a little bit. And I think that's why Liverpool have been struggling. It doesn't take long, right, for the, it doesn't take much for that well-oiled machine just to get knocked out of line a little bit. And that's what's going on. Toby Adejuro says, do I think Chelsea have any chance of winning the league since it's wide open? They have a chance. Of course they do. I mean, looking at the table, what are they now? They're in 8th place, 11 points off the top. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I think top 4 is obviously the main aim for Chelsea now. Liverpool is coming down the left here, but I think Tottenham are going to clear it. So Thomas Tuchel was in his press conference yesterday, asked him a few questions, and he said it's too early for title talk. He knows that there's a lot of teams above them at the moment, and they've got to close the gap. But top 4 is the main aim for Chelsea this season. I think they can do that for sure. As I said earlier, I think City and probably United looking pretty good for top 4, and then it's between Liverpool, Tottenham, Leicester, Chelsea, Arsenal, maybe West Ham or Everton or Villa even. One of those teams for the last 2 spots. So it's wide open. It's wide open for sure. Joshua, where are you at? I'm in Brooklyn, New York. Hello to Brooklyn. I'm just outside of London. So lived in Brooklyn for a while though. Loved it there. So hello to you over there. And again, let's have a bit of a roll call before. Oh, challenge there on Mane, who's clean through, but looks like he just fell over. But yeah, let me know where you're watching from in the USA and across the world. Love doing this and love seeing, where you guys are watching from. It's always good fun. Eric Dyer's down with an injury. Harry Kane's down with an injury. This does not look good for Tottenham. Joshua, I thought Socrates would have been a quality signing for Liverpool. My thoughts. Yeah, I heard someone else say that the other day, and I think that's a great idea, Joshua. I think, he was obviously out of contract or coming towards the end of his contract. He's left Arsenal as a free agent. Was really good at Borussia Dortmund. At times, he was good at Arsenal. Obviously, their entire defensive unit just a lot of problems there. Let's not go there. They seem to have finally maybe figured it out just a little bit. But yeah, a really good option, like you said, a short-term situation, short-term fix. And I think Fabinho's good. At centre-back's been brilliant. But I do think you lose a lot from midfield when he comes out of there. So, yeah, interesting to see what's happening here. Eric Dyer's up, but Harry Kane's getting a lot of attention on his foot, and it looks like the same foot that he injured previously. So this is not a great situation, is it? Not a great situation. He's looked to the sky in disbelief. And this is not good. This is not good for Tottenham. Okay, so I want to ask one question. What's been the biggest surprise for you guys this season? Anybody that you really, think I didn't expect that from this team or this player? I'll kick things off. I did not expect Leicester City to be this good. They have been great, even without Jamie Vardy. They managed to get it done. I thought after being in the top 4 last season and just missing out on that in the final day, I thought that'd be too much for them to, overcome. But they've come back firing. Have been really, really good. So that's my biggest surprise this season. Aston Villa, Everton, Southampton. Got loads of comments coming through here. Got Oklahoma City, we've got Pittsburgh, Brooklyn, New York, Austin, Texas. Wow. A lot of questions coming in. James Madison has been the biggest surprise. All right, we've got Pembroke Pines, Florida. Marlon Pines, thanks for joining us. S. Logan says, I didn't expect Sheffield United to be so bad. Yeah, kind of agree with that. And they haven't been that bad either, you know. Like when you look at them for last season, they played very similar. A lot of the stats. Oh, great tackle by Joe Rodon there. Mane was clean through and Rodon outstretched a leg. Tremendous challenge. And that's been the theme of the first half, right? Last-ditch tackles. Both Tottenham and Liverpool have been played in behind on a bunch of occasions. And amazing last-ditch tackle from Matip at one end earlier and then Rodon at the other. So great defending. Great play to get these forwards in. And I have to say maybe the finishing should be a lot better from both teams. Somehow it's still 0-0 between Tottenham and Liverpool. We've got Honolulu, Hawaii in the house. Jaden Delgado, thanks for joining us. Dallas, Texas. James Madison, again, some more love at them. David Davis says Aston Villa, some great additions. They've really strengthened. A top club and nice to see them on the up. Yeah, I agree with that. They play football the right way. Jack Grealish, Watkins, Barkley, really exciting players, have a good solid defensive structure. So yeah, going to be interested to see if they can kick on now. Like I said, they're in that bunch of teams, right? Southampton, Everton, Villa, Leicester, West Ham. Great first half of the season now. Can they carry it on? Is their squad strong enough to keep it going? Let's wait and see. Clement's got a comment here. Kane injured isn't a good look for Tottenham. Spurs are so reliant on Kane and Son on attack. And the biggest surprise this season is definitely how good Leicester has been. Yeah, I'm glad you agree with me on that because I was lucky enough to be, watching Leicester a lot when they won the Premier League title in 2015-16. Watched them in person down the stretch and was in Leicester the day that they lifted that title. And that seemed like a one-off. It seemed like a fluke. It seemed like this amazing, incredible season where everything came in and just worked out for them, where the traditional powerhouse is struggling. But since then, they've built steadily, had a few managerial changes, but Brendan Rodgers is a great manager, bought a lot of good young players, recruited well. And yeah, why not? I mean, when you look at their squad, why shouldn't they be right up there and stay there for the rest of the season? Because they've got some depth as well, right? Talazar is going to be back. All right, join us soon. Jaden Delgado says Phil Foden is in great form as well. Yeah, as an Englishman, I'd love to see Phil Foden doing well, and I think he's the missing piece of the jigsaw for England. That creative, like number 10 wide player that we've missed in big tournaments. Think about the World Cup a few years ago. Would have been great to have a player like him in that position, but England were just happy to be the semi-final. Who do I have winning the Champions League this season from Toby? I think I had Manchester City at the start of the season. With some of the injuries and the attacking injuries they've had, I'm not sure how that's going to work out for them. Tough to look past, like PSG, obviously now with Pochettino. I think that gives them an edge because they made a really good managerial appointment there. But I don't think you can look past, PSG, dare I say even Barcelona. I think they've obviously got that Messi factor, and they've been much better in recent weeks under Ronald Koeman. Defensively got better, a lot of changes in personnel, but they seem to have finally settled down. And then, of course, you have Messi, so it gives you a chance. And yeah, I think those are the 3 or 4 teams I see as the favourite. Man City, PSG, Barca, probably Bayern as well, just the way, to repeat. But let's wait and see, because I do feel like Chelsea have got someone up their sleeves as well, especially now. Samuel Stewart says, hi, Joe. Hi, Samuel. Thanks for joining us. Greg Garcia's in Philadelphia. Hope you're well with Philly and all is well over there. Joshua said Wolves falling off was a big surprise. That was a big surprise, but probably to do with Jimenez. But even before Jimenez's injury, right, they weren't the same Wolves we've seen finish 7th in back-to-back seasons and go on that great run in the Europa League. Talking about great runs, Salah's on a great run to the box. Great ball And Mane, that's what I'm talking about. Mane was just a couple of yards off being in the right position there. And that's what's been missing for Liverpool. They've gone well over 7 hours now since they last scored a goal in the Premier League. And that's the kind of situation that keeps coming up. They keep getting wide, getting the crosses into the box, but it's that final little pass or cross. They don't seem to quite believe that the player's going to get on the end of it. You know, before you get the fullbacks, Robertson and Alexander-Arnold, Salah, Mane getting wide, and they just always knew where an attacking player would be, but it doesn't seem like they have that connection at the moment, that telepathy that's really held them in good stead over the last 3-4 seasons now. Gabe says, where do I believe Messi will transfer to this summer? If I was a betting man, I'd still say Manchester City. And then I think, you know, the reports about Messi going to Man City for a few years and then going to New York City FC in Major League Soccer as part of joining the City Football Group, I think financially and just the kind of pathway that he can create, and he's already said he wants to play in MLS, I think that seems like the perfect opportunity there. But saying that, could easily go to PSG, play for Pochettino as his fellow countryman, and then head to Inter Miami. But Messi will not be short of offers. We all know that. Part of me wants him to stay at Barcelona his whole career, just to see it out and just to break every single record known to mankind. But great save by Hugo Lloris. Again, Mane played in. Again, it's that little run, a slide pass in behind Tottenham's defence, just like it's happened to Liverpool as well. And Mane running onto it, smashed straight at goal. And that really was a big opportunity, which came and went for Liverpool once again. So, yeah, a few minutes left in the first half. Somehow still 0-0. Marlon Hines says Saka can and will only get better. Go Gunners. Agree with that. Love him. He's brilliant. Actually got the chance to interview him after their win against Newcastle midway through last season, just before the lockdown and Project Restart. And he's so young, but he had an incredible assist, a nutmeg assist that game. Just like asking him about, you know, obviously he played at fullback, didn't he, for the majority of his first 3-4 months as an Arsenal player, but he's frightening how good he can be. So young. And again, as an Englishman, seeing him line up for England, it's brilliant. We have so many attacking options: Sterling, Rashford, Sancho, Kane. Obviously, I said Phil Foden earlier, Danny Ings, Maddison, Harvey Barnes. I'm sure I've missed out a lot of players there, but absolutely stacked. Absolutely Greenwood. But yeah, Mane just showing the replay of that chance, clean through, hits it kind of straight at Lloris, but, you know, a good chance has came and gone for Liverpool again. Corners coming after that. I think foul was given. Thiago's got to be careful. He's on a yellow card. Be interesting to see if he gets whipped off at half time, because this is the kind of game where I can see a red card totally changing it. Thanks for all your questions, guys. This is brilliant. I don't know about you, but it's just nice to have, you know, interaction, meet new people. This is the whole point of doing these watch-alongs. So cheers to you all out there. Thanks for your great questions, and, you know, feel free to chat amongst yourselves in the comment section as well. Got Kevin from Springfield, Massachusetts. Okay, Giovanni Galvas has chucked the question out there. Who's going to make the top 4? So let's answer Giovanni's question. Who do you guys think is going to make the top 4? I'll let it stew in the comments for a little bit, but it's going to be really interesting. Clement says about Bukayo Saka as well, his young player of the year. I agree with that. Brilliant player. Do I think Ronaldo will come to MLS? That's from Eleanor Elliott. Yeah, I think so. It's just probably into Miami with the Man United connection. David Beckham, could see that. Again, could easily see LA. Probably Galaxy. I don't know. Messi and Ronaldo are just destined to be playing against each other as rivals, probably into their 50s. Probably will play in Japan, MLS, South America, somewhere, you name it. They're just going to keep going, and I'm going to keep watching, as I'm sure we all will. because I'm sure they're always put on a show. Gavino Lopez says, but can you do it on a rainy night in Stoke? That's the big question. I kind of just want to see Stoke get promoted to the Premier League just to coincide with Messi's arrival, and then we can finally put that question to bed. I'm pretty sure he can do it, Gavino. He's done it pretty much everywhere else. So it gets cold in Spain in certain parts and certain times of the year. In other countries he's done it in. So, of course, it's a fun myth that we have here in England. But I've been to Stoke. It's windy, it's cold, it's often rainy. So it will be a test for anyone, not just Messi. David Davis says, West Brom, Fulham and Sheffield United, possibly the 3 worst sides the Premier League has seen since Derby County. Thoughts? Potential there. I get what you're saying. I don't think Sheffield United, even though they've only had 2 wins so far this season, I don't think they're as bad as their record suggests. I really don't. I watched them a lot. And they, like I said before, haven't done that much different than they did last season. Derby were historically bad. I mean, terrible. West Brom, Fulham again. If Big Sam doesn't get the players in that he needs to in January, then West Brom's a good shout. But a few shock results, haven't they? Drawing away at Man City and Liverpool, but probably more from luck than anything else. Fulham are okay. I think they need an attacker. Mitrovic not playing a lot is kind of bizarre, but the system they play needs someone a bit more mobile up top, and it works from a defensive standpoint. But going forward, Fulham don't have enough to stay up, in my humble opinion. Oh no, I knew we were going to get this question now. Who's better, Ronaldo or Messi? Anybody want to answer that in the comments? I'm going to chuck that to you guys, but they both have very different skills. They're both incredible players who've won pretty much everything. I think for Messi, the only thing he doesn't have over Ronaldo is that he's only ever played for one club and won trophies at Barcelona, hasn't won trophies at the international stage, and obviously Ronaldo has, and has won league titles and trophies in Italy, Spain, and in England. So all I'm saying is Messi, come to the Premier League, and then you can finally tell people that you can do it on Stoke and at Stoke, and you can do it in multiple countries as well. Okay, so Gavina says top 4. Man United, Man City, Liverpool, and Leicester. Kind of difficult to argue with that, right? I mean, it all depends on, like I said, Leicester's injuries. And Vardy's going to be out long term. He's not at the moment. Leicester little injury. Oh, Logan says Man City. Oh, we got a goal. We've got a goal. Bobby Firmino right on half time. Looks like Tottenham are looking for the offside flag. That's not going to come up. And right on half time, finally, Liverpool have taken one of these chances. Talk you through coming out of the back. Liverpool play it over the top, not offside. Lovely control and pass from Mane and right into the path of Firmino at the back stick. They're looking for handball on Mane, but that looked like his chest to me. Great pass, and finally, Liverpool have scored a goal in the Premier League. And of course, first Premier League goal of 2021, right? I mean, am I right? For some reason, that's in my head. Yeah, which is crazy to me. That's their first goal they've scored since the 27th of December in the Premier League. So the long wait is over, and the half is over. Right on half time, last kick of the first half, Bobby Firmino taps it home. He's got a smile on his face. So yeah, what do you guys think about that? James Payton, am I drinking beer out of a wine glass? No, I'm not. This is a fancy beer glass, I'm told. I was bought this as a gift, so it's too fancy for me, granted, but I'm trying to give it a go. This is a special occasion, this watch along. So maybe I'll mix it up. Now it's half time. I'll go and freshen my drink up. Maybe I'll get a little cheeky G&T or something like that. We're in England. I live just outside London. So, you know, why not, right? Why not? So maybe your predictions for this game now, guys. Tottenham have to come out, conceded right on half time. What do we think about that? Do we think that that's, you know, a good thing for Liverpool? Are they going to keep attacking? Do they sit back now? What about Tottenham? Let me know your thoughts. While you do that in the comments, I'm just going to go and grab a drink, freshen up the drink. So you see a kind of you'll see an empty seat for a few minutes, but I'm just going to get a G&T to go with my beer. I would say I had some snacks here. I forgot about my snacks the whole first half. I was so engaged in this chat that we're having, the wonderful chat in the game. But let me know where you're watching from again, what snacks and drinks you got. I'm going to go and freshen mine up. I'll be back in a minute, but I'm intrigued for your predictions for the second half and how it's going to play out. So, yeah, I'm going to drop the stream link in to the comments one more time in case anybody didn't grab that earlier. So there you go. Click on that link. I just popped up in the comments, and you can watch the game along with us with one stream up on one tab, and then this in the other, of course, and the volume on as well. All right, I'm going to be back in 2 minutes with a fresh drink. I suggest you do the same thing and chat amongst yourselves in the comments section. All right, I'm back. Can everyone hear me okay? Got the GNT. Cheers, everyone out there. Good to see you guys have been chatting. Jesse Lingard to West Ham. That's a good move. I'd make that move on West Ham. Tayal's back. Thanks for joining us again. So yeah, this has been a very good first half. Great watch along as always. And it's good, I think, for Liverpool fans. How are you feeling? I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts on that first half, because personally, I thought that was a lot better. I thought that was so much better than it has been, in recent weeks, months, whatever you want to say. It just hasn't quite been there, has it? But I thought that was, Liverpool back to their very best. And wow, as I say that, Tottenham did miss a few chances with Son, and obviously the VAR call early on. But they are good at counter-attack, and that's what Tottenham do, right? So you have to give some credit to Tottenham. But I think Liverpool, the longer the half went on, they got back into their game. They were dominating possession. And, given how things have gone recently, you've got to be happy with that, right? Okay, let's get to some of your comments, Dan. Let's have a look. There's a lot coming in here, so okay, for the second half, what do we think Tottenham have to do for, Kane obviously is struggling with a bit of a knock, it seems. Son has had those few chances and just hasn't been clinical. I mean, what do you guys think we need to see from Tottenham to get back into this game? Because they've created chances on the break, but is now the time where they have to, I'm like looking at the bench and the options they have. Gareth Bale, is this the time to bring him on at half time? You've got Carlos Vinicius, of course, Lamela, you've got Sissoko, you've got Moura. You've got a lot of attacking options there via Mourinho. Is this the chance now where it's like we're playing against a Liverpool team that we're clearly catching out on the counter with those couple of combination passes that they got Son in behind Harry Kane, with Harry Kane linking up? I feel like if they had Bale, Lamela, Moura, someone else up there, Bergwijn's been good, but he's done a lot of work defensively. I feel like they have to now be positive and go for it at home against a much changed Liverpool team that's low on confidence. Yes, they're playing better today, but I want to see more from Tottenham, right? So let me know in the comments what you think. And yeah, thanks for joining me for this watch along. To everyone just joining us, let us know where you're watching from in the world. We've had Tanzania in the house today, all over Africa. We've had countries. We've had all over the US. Particularly the East Coast and Texas and California and Florida, just a few that spring to mind. But this will be really, really interesting to see. Clement says, what are my thoughts on the game between Arsenal and Man United at Emirates Stadium on NBC? Yeah, great plug there, Clement. That's on Saturday, 12:30 Eastern on the big NBC channel. I actually do think that Arsenal will win it. I'm going to go for an upset. I think that the way they're playing, they've won 5 of the last 6 now in the league. Man United still, to me, show too many defensive frailties. They've still got a clanger in them. They've still got that moment where they can just totally blow it. Granted, Arsenal aren't much better in that regard, but with Saka and Smith Rowe coming in, creativity out wide in the number 10 position, Pepe's been better, like I said, and they dominated Southampton. They've been really good this season. Of course, they had a few injuries to deal with, Saints against Arsenal, but take nothing away from Arsenal. They're really good, and not many teams go to St Mary's and win. So they're in a good position, in a good moment with confidence. Obviously, Odegaard, excited to see him play. And I think maybe for Arsenal, getting rid of Socrates, Ozil, Torreira's heading out, of course, and a few other players, Kolasinac that they moved on. Maybe just having those players in the squad was too big. You hear managers say that a lot, right? It's good to have a deep squad, but sometimes your squad can be too deep if you're not, rotating as much. And it's quite nice to have a 20-man squad and then 4 or 5 young players from the academy. The balance, just kind of everyone's contributing. You can rotate a little bit, but not too much. So I like where Arsenal are at. I was very shocked with the start they had to the season. I did think for a while, like many, that, oh my God, they're going to be in a relegation battle. Not anymore after this surge. But now it's time to make the most of this situation. They have to start beating the teams around them. They've had some big results, under Arteta in these big games. Beat United earlier in the season. They obviously beat Chelsea as well. So let's wait and see. Gavino fancy Spurs for the comeback after the Mourinho halftime talk. Yeah, I don't know what's the modern day equivalent of the hairdryer. I guess Fergie used to give Man United. So I don't know. It's going to be harsh for Mourinho, let's say that, because they've let Liverpool back into this game. They had a couple of good chances with Son, but haven't really got that grip on the game. And I think in midfield, we have to point out, I did give Thiago some stick earlier, but he's got on the ball, dictated the tempo. Wijnaldum and Milner really have dominated Højbjerg in that area there. So that's the key battle, Liverpool winning, and that's why they're winning right now. Jonathan lives in Ohio. Blake Patrick says, hi, mate. How you doing? Thanks for joining us. David Davis, that's some great questions. Or looks like Lamella. Was that Bale coming on as well? Looks like Tottenham are. Someone hear me? That's what I called for at half-time, to be brave. It looks like Spurs are making a couple of half-time changes here. David, I'm going to get to your question, but I just want to see who's... It looks like it's just Lamella. Lamella's coming on for Harry Kane, so that is not good news. I got that right? And Harry Winks as well. I mean, that's just... So Lamella and Winks. Nat Phillips is coming on at half-time for Liverpool, and it looks like Joel Matip is coming off. So a couple of big injuries at half-time there, which is concerning both, obviously, for Liverpool and for Tottenham. So you have to imagine their injuries at this point. Wow. Just look a bit into it. So what do you guys think about those changes? That, to me, is not good news for Tottenham. And the second half is underway, folks. So thanks for joining me, wherever you're watching from. This is fun, doing these watch-alongs, getting together, having a chat, a drink, and some snacks. And nearly 2-0 to Liverpool straight away. We got edge of the box. Oh, Mohamed Salah curled it just over the bar. Wow, what a chance. What a chance right at the start of the second half. Firmino got away, and then Salah Just wriggled free and curled it just inches wide of the post. Okay, we've got Bismarck in Ghana. We've got Luke Williamson in Pennsylvania. Hi, Luke. And it's 2-0. Look down at the comments for 2 seconds, and Trent Alexander-Arnold has scored. Wow. Wow. Either side of half-time, as I sip on my G&T, that was a fine goal for Liverpool. Mourinho's absolutely fuming. Lloris spilled the ball after Mane turned and had a shot low down. Alexander-Arnold was the first to respond, and a great low drive across goal into the far corner. Liverpool flying 2-0 up early in the second half. Mourinho has a face like thunder. Jurgen Klopp is absolutely delighted and punching the air. So, wow. Incredible few minutes either side of half-time for Liverpool. Here they come again on the attack. I don't think we had many Liverpool wins predicted right at the start of the game when I asked your predictions. Not many people out there thought that they'd be winning this game. People keep asking if I'm a Man United fan. I can assure you I'm not. And someone asked earlier who my Premier League team was. I was born near Southampton, very close to their stadium. So you have to support your local team. That's my local team. So stay very, unbiased, but they're my local team. All my family supports Southampton. So to give you a bit of insight into my upbringing here in England. Oh, what a goal. Game on. Højbjerg is just hammered home from distance. Mourinho is giving it the big one. Here we go. This is the game on. 2-1 now. Flurry of goals. I told you, whenever we do a watch-along, it's a great game. Loads of goals, loads of drama. And my goodness, do we have a game on our hands. Højbjerg, ball's rolled back to the edge of the box. Drills it. Rising all the time into the top corner. Milner can't get there to shut him down. Kind of sliced across it, but did it on purpose. Snuck just inside the far corner. And Højbjerg, defensively, he's like Mourinho's general and a warrior, but he does have that in his locker for Southampton a few times. Had some great goals over the years. And this is game on now. What a game we have on our hands. Maybe Liverpool aren't going to run away with it after all. We all thought they were, right? But nope. This is an incredible, incredible game. Wow, Tottenham are going at it now. Send me your score predictions. I want to hear your score predictions, what you think is going to happen now. If I had to pick a winner now, I'm going to say Tottenham because they are buoyed by that strike. They're all over Liverpool. Let's go. Let's, wow. I just can't believe that goal, just seeing the replays back. What a strike by Højbjerg. (3-2). We got Tal saying 3-2 Tottenham. Steven says he said a 2-2 draw. Tal says that's his prediction for 50k. I mean, I don't know if you've got a bet on, but my goodness, this is going to be a wild 35, 40 minutes. Oh, Liverpool nearly in again. So many, you could say Mourinho parks the bus, but Tottenham have had chances now. and they've left the door open to Liverpool on so many occasions on the break. Salah was just offside when that ball was played, but Tottenham are playing dangerous game so far. Nikola Nanev says, "Hi mate, I'm a Bulgarian, lived in London for 5 years, moved to New York City recently. I'm a Man United fan. Thanks for this." So any Man United fans in New York City, say hi to Nicola. Obviously, across the US as well, a lot of Man United fans. And yeah, Bulgaria. I mean, as a kid, I just wanted to learn to speak Bulgarian because of Hristo Stoichkov. That was one of my favorite players growing up. So thank you to your country for producing a wonderful player. It was brilliant to watch. Talking about brilliant to watch, this game has been sensational, end to end. Tottenham flying into tackles now. Winks and Lamela. Oh, we got a nasty head injury. Thiago and not sure who that is. Maybe Joe Rodon, I think it is, down, clutching his head. Big aerial battle in the right on the halfway line, middle of the pitch. Nasty clash of heads. Ooh. Do not want to see that one back again. Oh. So yeah, grab a drink wherever you're watching from. Got some snacks here. As I said before, the main aim of this watch along is that we can't all be together right now in a lot of places around the world. With friends, with family. Can't go down the pub with your mates and have a drink. So let's have one here. Watch the game together. Chat in the comments. Ask me any questions you want. We can all connect and watch along together. So what a great game. 2-1 to Liverpool early in the second half. Goals from Firmino just before half-time. Alexander-Arnold just after half-time. And then, so Liverpool looked like they were cruising, 2-0 up. And just as that happened, Højbjerg smashed in an absolute beauty. And it's 2-1, and it's game on. For anybody who wants to watch in the US, I've got the stream link. I'm going to pop it into the comments here. So you can watch, if you're in the USA, live in one tab, you can have that stream up. And in the other, you can obviously watch this and interact and ask me any questions you possibly want. Okay, so obviously the big news around the Premier League this week, aside from this game, has been Thomas Tuchel coming in at Chelsea, replacing Frank Lampard. Interested to hear what you guys think. Do you think that was harsh? Do you think Lampard deserved to get fired? Do you think Tuchel's the right man for Chelsea? Personally, I think it's a little bit of a mixture of all of that. I think Tuchel will do a good job defensively, and kind of a style of play will work really well with these Chelsea players. But I think Lampard probably should have got to the end of the season, right? Am I wrong in thinking that? I think maybe should have had to the end of the season to see if he can get Chelsea into the top four. They weren't that far off it. But maybe it just showed that Lampard really was just a kind of a placeholder, you know, fans' favourite, give him some experience, give him an opportunity to manage in the Premier League, and then that was all it was. And as soon as the best manager after that became available, like Tuchel left, obviously, Paris Saint-Germain or was fired in December, and then Lampard was out. But Chelsea have been a funny team. When they're on it, they can rip teams apart. But this season, they've made some big mistakes defensively. And I think the main problem with Lampard at Chelsea and his Chelsea side was that they weren't learning. They kept making the same mistakes. So Thiago's come back on the pitch. He's had his head bandaged up and he's back onto the pitch now, straight into the heat of battle. Tottenham play a long ball over the top. Whip it in. And Liverpool clear. So yeah, let me know your comments. And your score predictions now, that's playing out, and don't believe it. It's 3-1. Salah's just scored. This is unbelievable. Oh, they're looking at a handball in the build-up, perhaps, with Firmino on the halfway line. Thiago played it through. Mane heavily involved again. Plays it to Salah. Curled it home. A lot of comments have just gone through at the same time here, so I'm just catching up with your questions. But it's 3-1 to Liverpool. It looks like this goal's going to stand. Just when it looked like Tottenham were getting back into this game, Salah, who I tipped for the golden boot, by the way. But definitely a handball for Firmino when he controlled it, laid it back to Thiago, who sprayed it out to Mane, and then obviously Salah finished. But the Tottenham bench is going crazy. Henderson is having a pop at the ref. VAR's checking it. I think this is going to be disallowed. I think this has to be disallowed. Jeremiah Workman says gin and tonic is the best drink, no discussion. Agree with that. Cheers, mate. As we watch here, what's happened here? VAR is ruled. The referee is going to the pitch side monitor to have a look for himself. High drama. Are Liverpool going to be 3-1 up, or are Tottenham going to be given a lifeline? Referee's watching on the pitch on the side. Sorry, the monitor on the side of the pitch. I mean, once he sees this, he has to disallow it, right? It's a clear handball. What do you guys think? That looks like it's going to be handball, surely. Yep. Disallowed goal. Disallowed goal. No goal. Jurgen Klopp doesn't look happy. You have to say there, the technology worked. Technology worked there, because that was a clear handball that helped Liverpool in the build-up. The goal has been called off, and now Tottenham whipped in a cross. And there'll be, this is the interesting thing about VAR, there's that momentum shift now. You think you've gone 3-1 up and the game's done and dusted. Goal's been taken away. Now you play on, and Tottenham are playing with a lot of zip and character and pushing Liverpool back. Keep your questions coming in. Great ball, the outside the foot to the back post. Oh, Liverpool getting enough bodies back, but Tottenham just camped on the edge of Liverpool. Oh, it was offside. Offside decision, I think we had there. But Mourinho's applauding, loves that effort. And let's see what happens. Okay, let's answer a few of your questions there. So Stevens, Ari Stevens says, I read Lampard wasn't a very good communicator, and communicating with your players is a key factor in raising play. I agree with that. It did seem sometimes that he would chuck his players under the bus after defeats and poor performances. And yeah, I just, you know, I think there was a lot of inexperience in the way they played and the way that he managed, and that's to be expected. A lot of young players, and of course, a young manager still learning his trade. It was probably a few years too early for him to take a Chelsea job, but can you blame him for taking it? Certainly cannot. And I think it was harsh. I think it was harsh. A Chillers 5215 says Salah looking like a young Joe Prince-Wright out there. I don't know if I go that far, but if you're after a hard-nosed holding midfielder, then you've come to the right place. So many, many moons ago in my playing days. Okay, Gavina says, we'd love to see Tuchel eliminate PSG in the Champions League with Chelsea. Yeah, I mean, that would be something. That would be something. And a lot of you saying it was harsh on Lampard. Yeah, I agree with that. Liverpool have had a few chances here. Wijnaldum just whipped one just wide. This is a setup for a great final 30 minutes or so, isn't it? Liverpool won the ball back high up. Milner into Mane, twisting and turning, but Højbjerg's there, diving around, makes a tackle and then got caught, and he looks like he's in a lot of pain. So let me get to your latest comments. A lot of them seem to be coming through in batches, so bear with me. There must be so many comments on the watch along that, you know, it's. Don't want to say you're breaking the internet, guys, but you're certainly keeping me a lot of company here, which is great. Keep the good questions coming in. Here's a stream link. Have a go on that. Jeremiah Workman says GNT makes me think I'm secretly British. Well, mate, as long as you like football, a GNT and a beer, then you're basically British. I can tell you that much. Gavino Lopez, what is England's favourite beer? All of it, I'd say. If you've ever been on a night out in England or to a pub, there is very rarely a beer that people don't like. Different types, of course. You've got the sort of old traditional ales, like, you know, they're not even cold beers, so it's not to everyone's taste. But yeah, lots of different types. And trust me, I've sampled it, you know, for just to connect with my culture, let's say that. Giovanni says vodka cranberry is the best drink. I've never had that, I don't think, so I'm going to have to try that. Coors Light, Carlin, Moretti are all popular in Wales. Nice. Favourite lagers to drink? That's what Davis says, by the way. That's his favourite beers in Wales. I like an IPA or a lager. Like, I like going to local breweries and trying out different types. To be honest, that's one of my things I like to do in my spare time. Just, you know, go and relax, have a couple of beers. And when we can all get back to doing that in a more normal way here in England and elsewhere across the world, I'm really looking forward to that, as I'm sure you all are. Question here, James Payton. Did Tottenham sell Dele Alli this summer? I think they need to get rid of him in January, if I'm honest. I don't think that's going to happen, but they're probably just keeping him for the Europa League and the other cup competitions. Yeah, I don't know what's happened there. There's obviously a huge breakdown in personality or just playing style of Mourinho, but the thing at Stoke was weird when, you know, Dele Alli got hammered for giving the ball away, which led to a Stoke goal, which was like 30, 40 seconds later. It really didn't impact too much. So I think he's been made a scapegoat. Mourinho does like to do that. I think of Casillas at Real Madrid, Luke Shaw at Man United. At Chelsea, he did it a few times, obviously, with many players, but he does like to do that at a team, to kind of single out a couple of individuals. And I guess it happens with most managers, but Mourinho, when they come into a new job, but Mourinho just seems to make it a lot more obvious than a lot of other managers, right? If you're not in his plans, you know right away. And usually it's a top player. And Dele Alli to PSG seems like a perfect fit for me, playing for Pochettino again. That's just my opinion. 3-1. It's going to count this time. Mane makes it 3-1 to Liverpool. And I think we can finally say that's game over. Back post, Mane is doing this nice celebration after his wonderful moment when he met some of the Liverpool fans doing great work in the community up there. And Alexander-Arnold whipped in a lovely ball to the back post from way out on the right flank. It bounced and just skipped off the turf. And Joe Rodon tried to chest it and then clear it, but it hit his chest, skipped off, when really he should have headed it clear or just cleared it first time. Didn't realise that Mane was lurking right behind him. And Mane hammered home. Jurgen Klopp punched the air in delight. Hugo Lloris punched the post in dismay. And Mourinho just looked distraught as Mane slid on his knees in celebration. And that is Tottenham 1, Liverpool 3. And I don't think anybody had that in the predictions at the start of the game, did you? I don't think you did. So Jeremiah's got a really good point here about VAR. The public can see lines being drawn on the screen. It's technically offsides, but the ref says no because it's just a foot or so. Comes super by. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm just asking for maybe like just so instead of drawing those lines, you have like a pre-made panel of like a blue area, and as long as the player isn't in that blue dotted area, you know, they're offside. If they're outside that area, if they're in it, and there's enough, sort of the grey area, which really doesn't make a difference if it's just a few millimeters, then they're onside. I think FIFA's already talking about that, and different leagues obviously interpret it in different ways, but I'm just chucking a few ideas out there. I mean, in theory, it sounds good to me. I don't know how easy it would be to implement. Like you said, could be biased, but I'm all about improving the game. And I think VAR has taken a little bit away from the spectacle and kind of made it a little bit more like the NFL, which love the NFL, love my American football, but it is a little bit too stop-start at times. And I think the beauty of the Premier League and why it's so different, and football in general, soccer in general, is because of that non-stop nature and the fast-paced action. I think you just lose a little bit if you rely on VAR too much for a lot of decisions. So Prem Analysis says, how's the game going? I can't watch. 3-1 to Liverpool. So recap, we have a 1-0 lead right on half-time, right at the end of the first half. Firmino tapped in at the back post. Right at the start of the second half, Alexander-Arnold scored a beauty to make it 2-0. Højbjerg then scored a beauty to make it 2-1. And then Sadio Mane just tapped home at the back post to make it 3-1. And yeah, I mean, overall, that's probably fair. I'd say Son's had 1 goal disallowed by VAR. Obviously, Liverpool have as well with Salah. So they're even on that score. Both decisions were correct. Will be interesting. Toby says, is it fair to compare Mourinho's greatness to Ferguson? And Taylor's back as well. Hello, thanks for joining us again. It's fair. I'd say that Ferguson is still like on a different level, probably. But Mourinho's in that kind of class of manager right up there. As they show Gareth Bale sipping on a drink, sat on the bench for Tottenham, and I saw he had one of these electric vests on the other day, which keeps his back warm and keeps him nice and warm. And my goodness, he's got a lot of use out of that jacket this season, hasn't he? Tottenham did not see this coming. I mean, I know Mourinho wants you to be part of the team and work hard, but it just seems like Bale hasn't been given the right opportunities or enough opportunities to play. Anybody else think that? I don't know what's going on there. I know he's had some fitness problems, but I don't understand why you bring Gareth Bale back if you're hardly going to play him in the Premier League and just keep him Europa League and League Cup. David Kim says, what do I think about the bus strategy from Mourinho? Well, I think he's got found out tonight, David. I think Liverpool were there for the taking. We saw the chances on the break, obviously for Son. Harry Kane going off injured at half-time hasn't helped him, of course. But Liverpool have got defensive injuries. They're all over the place. Matip played, and then Nat Phillips is coming at half-time for him. Henderson's back there. They're a bit disjointed. Go for them. Just go, go for it. Like, I don't understand this tactic. This is a really negative way of playing for Tottenham, and they have better players. I know it's Mourinho's way, but this is a game where they should have gone for it, right? I mean, what do you guys think about that? Giovanni says Gareth Bale is thinking about golf, I bet. Yeah, probably. Andre Villarreal. Arsenal versus Manchester United this weekend. Who wins? I said earlier, I think Arsenal. I think they're in form. I think they can make the most of a haphazard Man United defence. Saka, Smith Rowe, maybe Odegaard to play. I think they have a lot of good attacking weapons now, Arsenal. So I'm going to go for Arsenal. Got a question here from Prem Alice. What team does everyone support? So let you know. Mohammed's a Liverpool fan. Andy says, Eric Lamela hasn't shown us much all season. I would choose Vinicius over Lamela. And yeah, weird sub, right? Weird sub. Vinicius on the bench. Bale I would have probably brought on ahead of him. Probably Lucas Moura. I don't really understand it. Don't really understand it. For anybody looking in the comments, Giovanni's an Aston Villa fan. Great season for your boys, Giovanni. Stream link is in the comments there. And with what? Not long to go here. 3-1. It feels like they're just going to edge here. We've got Gavino, Wolves fan. Seamus Kilkelly's Chelsea. Everton. Grealish is the man. Yeah, I agree with that. I love watching him play. Jeremiah is a Tottenham fan. Been so since the first time Bale was with us. This is pretty typical. It's getting frustrating, and we need to be able to prove ourselves in these big games. I agree. I was actually at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium for the wins against Arsenal and Manchester City, and that's a very professional display. Very, hit him on the counter, clinical. It was everything you'd expect from a Mourinho team. But at some point, he didn't always do that with Chelsea, with his great Chelsea teams, or even at Real Madrid or Inter Milan. There was more attacking intent. There was demolition of teams. And as the camera cuts to Mourinho screaming and shouting at his players there, I wonder, has he got the players to dominate games? And, going forward, sure, but they've been caught on the counter a lot here. And I just think he's too worried that they're going to be exposed, that they're going to be beaten like they are tonight. But like I said, they're being beaten tonight playing that way. So why not be more aggressive and go for the win? And who knows what might happen, because I do feel Liverpool were there for the taking tonight. But as soon as that first goal went in, they got a lot of confidence. And Tottenham, apart from those Son chances on the break in the first half, been really disappointed with them. Let me know what you guys think. Jacob Reiser, what do I think Tuchel brings to Chelsea that Lamps didn't? Very good question, Jacob. I think he brings a positivity that was maybe missing. When I look at Tuchel, he kind of seems like a mixture of Pep Guardiola and Jurgen Klopp. I know he's good friends with Guardiola, so kind of makes sense. I think he's got that tactical nous where he can organise a team defensively. They can be solid, but then he's really good working with the young players. I think that's key. Lampard was forced to bring through young players. At Derby, he did the same because he had to loan players in. I don't know if he was really that good at developing young players, but Tuchel for me has the edge because we've seen at Dortmund with Pulisic and Dembele and lots of others. He helped bring them through, and then at PSG he did the same. Obviously Mbappe seemed to go on from strength to strength, and he put faith in youth wherever he went. But I think there's a clear sort of defensive structure which was always missing with Lampard. Didn't matter if you brought in Edouard Mendy or Thiago Silva or Chilwell. There was a naivety about the way Chelsea played under Lampard. I don't think he was the best in-game manager. You know what I'm saying? Like in a game, if a situation was unfolding, didn't look like to me that Lampard could change it in a positive way a lot of the times. He would just chuck on, Abraham for Giroud or vice versa. He would do the same thing or just bring on a player and hope that they would change the game. Where I think that Tuchel kind of has, we showed it, even though he didn't beat Wolves in his first game, he brought on Pulisic and Mount, made a big difference, switched to kind of that 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, whatever you want to call it, with wing backs, and makes a few more risks, you know. Tuchel's a great coach, Steven says. I agree with that. Lukeman, Pete says, Joe, what do I think is wrong with Bale? Don't know. I'm really confused because he has been okay in some of the appearances. Not like he's been terrible when he's come off the bench. We don't know the extent of his injury problems. I mean, Real Madrid and Zidane were saying it for years, right? That he wasn't at his best. He wasn't able to compete. Maybe we're just seeing that now. Maybe we're seeing the physicality and we're not seeing training sessions every day. But this points to me that physically, maybe Tottenham didn't quite know how bad it was for Gareth Bale. So, yeah, I can only think that's, you know, what I'm thinking of when I think of why he isn't playing more. David Davies says, what are my thoughts on Antonio Conte? He had a great first season with Chelsea, winning the league. He did. I followed them a lot that season. It was brilliant, the 3-5-2, and yeah, just the way they played was exceptional. Didn't have the best second season. Was made to pay. Does he deserve Conte the praise for the job he did? I think so. I think so, definitely. I think he won the FA Cup. Not horrendous. I mean, yes, of course, didn't finish in the Champions League spots, but yeah, Thiago's coming off, by the way. Curtis Jones is coming on. Thiago played really well. Fair play to him. Got the head bandaged up. A warrior, got booked. Nasty clash of heads, but Klopp gives him a big old bear hug, and he deserved that because he was really good tonight. His best performance in Liverpool shirt, I'd say. But I do think Conte deserves more credit. He was always really good to deal with from a journalist point of view. I remember when they won the league, there was glasses of champagne out for the press in the media room at Chelsea. He was very pleasant, very nice guy. Oh, Bale's coming on. We have a Gareth Bale sighting, everyone. He is about to come on for the final few minutes here. Probably about 20 minutes too late, in my opinion. But yeah, to finish on that point on Conte, he has Inter Milan right up there in Italy. I love, if I'm a fan, and well, I am a fan, but if he came to manage my team, I'd be delighted with that. I think if you ask most Chelsea fans, compared to Maurizio Sarri, the football was more interesting, attack-minded as a player. He was fully committed with the Italian national team. He did a great job with Juve and now at Inter. Yeah, I think he'll end up in the Premier League one day. I'd love to see him come back and maybe manage, you know, Manchester United or get another big job. Ben Morgan, who's in my top 4 if I had to put money on it? Oh, I'm going to have a sip on the old gin and tonic because it takes a lot of thought, this one. Don't know if you guys can hear, by the way, the rain is coming down here in England. I've got like a glass roof here. You can hear the background noise, and the rain is hammering down. So I hope you can hear me okay. But yeah, raining in England, who would have thought that? Top 4. Man City, Man United, Liverpool, and Leicester. Probably. I'm not sure about Leicester and Liverpool. I'm totally honest with you. Like, even though they're playing well tonight, I still think some of these injuries are going to come back to bite Liverpool. And I think Tottenham just going to come up short. I do think Chelsea are going to get better under Tuchel, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Stephen's been pouring in the Santa Cruz Mountains too. Wow. Ari Stevens, explain to me more about the Santa Cruz Mountains. Like, I want to hear all about that, especially as we're in lockdown over here in the UK. That obviously not getting to go anywhere or visit or travel anywhere much. So, yeah. Luke says Bale's coming on. Yeah, Bale's coming on right now for Steven Bergwijn. Coming on. Let's see if he can turn it around. He's got what? Not long to score 3 goals. Gareth Bale hat-trick. Done it before, right? San Siro. No big deal. Okay. Ari Stevens, Santa Cruz, California, 45 minutes south of San Francisco. I've been to San Jose. I covered a game at Levi's Stadium USA against Colombia, the opening game of the Copa America Centenario. So lovely part of the world. Did a lot of traveling around the Bay Area on that trip. So enjoy. Gavino Lopez, Bell Masterclass coming up. All right. Gavino, let's see what happens, mate. He's got to do something quickly. Liverpool just keeping the ball nice and slow here, just possessing it, knocking it around. And yeah, Tottenham can't really get near him at the moment. Toby's in Baltimore. Yeah, let me know where you guys are watching from. Really intrigued to see where else you're watching from. Obviously, I'm here just outside London in England, watching Tottenham against Liverpool. O'Dalis is looking forward to the Mourinho post-match interview. Funny you should say that. As soon as we're done with the watch-along here, I am joining the virtual press conference for Mourinho and Klopp on NBCSports.com. We'll have live analysis and reaction to that. So we'll keep you updated on ProSoccerTalk about what they say. But I think Mourinho's going to have a thing or two to say about these VAR decisions and some of these performances from his Tottenham players, for sure. Kisner Pandey says New York City. Robert Cunningham is from Scranton, Pennsylvania. Driven through there a few times in my times living in Pittsburgh and upstate New York. Angela Coleman, hello in Dallas, Texas. Jay Parker in Manchester. Kelly sent me here. You're a Spurs fan? Well, hello to you. Great to have you joining us. Gavino is in New York City. 4:42. It's 9:42 here. So, and Giovanni's in Miami, Florida. Joshua Cruz, St. Louis, Spurs fan over in St. Louis, Missouri. Hello to the Midwest of the USA. As Liverpool launch a long ball forward, Eric Dyer sort of deals with it. Ari Stevens, how did they end up playing college ball for Pittsburgh? Good question. I grew up here in England and played in a couple of games. Some scouts from the US were watching. Next thing I knew, got a scholarship to go and play college soccer at the University of Pittsburgh. Go Pitt. Loved it. Spent 4.5 wonderful years in Pittsburgh. Lived in New York City. Played in Scotland for a few years before I hung up my boots. And then been working with NBC full-time for a long time now and love it. But yeah, love my time playing in Pittsburgh, traveling, playing against Notre Dame and, you know, Louisville, UConn, St. John's, Georgetown, South Florida. Lots of great memories traveling around the USA and getting to see the wonderful country, meet great people and make lifelong friendships. And yeah, incredible life-changing experience. Met my wife, who's from the USA as well. We live over here in England now. So kind of gone full circle, but that's my life story pretty much. So thanks for asking. Francisco Hernandez, who do I think is going to win the title? I said it, I think Manchester City. I really think Manchester City. I said it at the start of the season. I wavered a little bit when they had that dodgy spell where they couldn't score any goals and Aguero was out injured. But I do believe that defensively, they're just not going to let in a lot of goals. And De Bruyne, Mahrez, Sterling, Silva, Foden are going to score the goals to, you know, get them over the line. Sergio Garcia, hello. I'm excited for the World Cup 2026. Yeah, I just did a great ranking actually on ProSoccerTalk and NBCSports.com. They're whittling down the list of 17 host cities in the USA down to 10 that are actually going to host games. So go on NBCSports.com and ProSoccerTalk and let me know what you think of that list. I picked the 10 cities I thought would be front runners for hosting games in the World Cup. So let me know where you think games should be. There's a lot of great cities. The US could host that tournament all on their own, but of course for 2026 there'll be 16 host cities, 3 in Mexico, 3 in Canada, which I think is great to spread it across those 3 countries, and 10 stadiums will be in the US. So that'd be really cool to see, and hopefully attend games and watch it when things get back to normal. So thanks, Sergio. Really excited for the 2026 World Cup. It's over 5 years away, but trust me, I'm absolutely buzzing for that. Tad Baver says, any transfer news on Liverpool to report? It seems at the moment it's quite quiet. It seems like Van Dijk is closer to returning than we all thought. So that's good news. And I think Liverpool is going to ride out with Matip and Fabinho, maybe Henderson as well at centre-back. Did I play for Dr. Joe Luxbacker? I did at Pittsburgh. Great guy, recruited me to come over from England. So I have a lot to thank him for. And you attended a soccer camp when you were 12 that he was running. Well, yeah, he's been around for a long time in the soccer scene in Pittsburgh. And you've officiated games at Founders Field. Yep, used to play their home games in Indianola, just outside Pittsburgh. Great stadium they have now on campus at Pitt. So love going back and visiting. And obviously they were the #1 ranked team in the country in college soccer in recent months. So that was great to see the job that Jay Vidovic is doing there. And yeah, all my Pitt soccer teammates, I'm really proud of where that program has gone. So fond memories from the Steel City, Tad. So thanks for bringing those up. Gavino Lopez, who do I see winning the gold medal in men's football at Tokyo Olympics? Great question. These are really good questions there, I have to say. Hats off to all of you. Great variety of questions, and throughout, even though we're watching Tottenham Liverpool together, and it's still 3-1, Liverpool just going through the motions here, they're spraying the ball around. Tottenham are trying to chase it down. Bale's trying to do his best, but, you know, nothing's happening for him, of course. Harry Kane being out injured, maybe that does open the door for Gareth Bale to play more now. Hopefully it's not a serious injury, but at this time of this season, every season, right, it seems like Kane goes down with a foot injury or an ankle injury. It happens every single season, like clockwork, January, February time, and then around, and as an Englishman, you're looking at like the tournaments, the European Championships or the World Cup in the summer, and you're thinking, my goodness, please be fit. Please be fit for England. And he just about makes it, and then he's not fully fit, and England go out on penalties probably in the semi-finals. I'm just put your money on that. But for the Tokyo Olympics, I do like the US if they do qualify. They've got that qualifying tournament coming up in March, depending on which players they can get released from their club teams to play. Obviously, a lot of good young US players. Yeah, I mean, just got to root for some of the big European teams. And again, maybe Japan as the host nation, they always seem to do well in these tournaments too. So that's what I'm going for. USA, if they make it, I'm going to go for that. Okay, just got the man of the match come up on the screen here over in the UK. Trent Alexander-Arnold's man of the match. Who was your man of the match? That was who they selected. Who's your man of the match in this game? Tal Lozano, can I ask one more question, Joe? Go for it. Go for it. We're asking here. Asking lots of questions. Ari Stevens was born and raised in Central California, but Watford FC sponsored the club I played for in the 80s and would come and train with us in the off-season. I love the English game. That's an incredible story. I mean, that's brilliant. Watford FC coming to train in Central California. That's brilliant. I got visions. I mean, did Elton John turn up as well? Was he knocking around? That would have been really cool. Mane or Trent Alexander-Arnold? Mane or Trent Alexander-Arnold? I'm going to go with Mane, I think. Mourinho wants a penalty kick late on. He's calling for a penalty kick. I mean, when wouldn't he be calling for a penalty kick, right? Just got a question here. Andrew Gomez, do I think it's too easy to draw a foul in the Premier League nowadays? Sort of, and even some of the ones that you might not think were penalty kicks, I think for me, they obviously check VAR, use VAR, and there's a lot more penalty kicks this season, so it's a lot easier to win a penalty kick and win a foul. Luke Clemens, I think Nat Phillips is sensational. Yeah, he's been great since he come in. Obviously, Harry Kane went off injured, so he didn't have to deal with Kane. But yeah, hasn't missed a beat. And Matip looked a little bit off the pace at times in the first half. So be intrigued to see that as an injury or a tactical switch. And was going to speak to Klopp and Mourinho on ProSoccerTalk at NBCSports.com. So stay tuned. Head over to the website for the latest news and analysis on the Premier League. No mistake, Spurs was weak tonight, as Sherwa Osman says. What happened to Jose's defense? Yeah, I mean, they're missing a few players back there, aren't they? But I just think it was too negative with the three-man defence. I think they changed their setup too much for Liverpool. And Mourinho has a habit of doing that in these big games. I remember when he was in charge of United, wasn't he? Liverpool, whenever they played them, he'd always change to almost a 5-3-2 or 5-4-1. Ashley Young as a winger. And just pays him a lot of respect, but too much respect, in my opinion. I think Tottenham were good enough, like I said, to go out there and take the game to Liverpool tonight. Toughest college team I faced at Pitt. Oh, good question. A lot of like very high ranked teams when I was there. Notre Dame were always good, of course. UConn, Brian White, I remember that very well, playing in front of quite a few thousand fans away at UConn, a cold November night, and I think he scored a hat-trick early on, and as a young freshman, that was good experience, but definitely very good level college soccer. Some of the other teams, better teams played against, Louisville were good, St. John's were good for a while, so yeah, West Virginia was the big rivalry of Pitt, so a lot of good teams. Really enjoyed it playing in those leagues. Tad Bevan, has a clarification regarding the offside law been issued by the Premier League after Villa Man City incident involving Mings and Rodri? Yeah, it has. It has actually changed. So the Premier League and the FA have kind of said that the interpretation of that rule was incorrect. Of course, anyone didn't see that incident. Rodri was in an offside position, but because Mings touched the ball when it came down and didn't really know he was there, they said that Rodri then became live. He wasn't in a dangerous position because Mings didn't know he was there, so he wasn't offside and wasn't live in that instant. That's nonsense. He was clearly offside when the ball was touched. So there's some of the rules need tweaking. I think we're going to see IFAB maybe step in and clarify that, because the Premier League are obviously just using the IFAB rules and regulations, but IFAB only changed the rules in the summer, 1st of July each year. So we're going to have to wait until the summer to get that officially changed. But the Premier League has issued a statement saying that that interpretation, the way it was interpreted, was wrong. Of course, that doesn't help Aston Villa out, but does give some clarification about going forward. David Davis, do I follow much of the Championship? Which three teams do I think will get promoted to the Premier League? I do, as much as I possibly can. My role with NBC, mostly I watch the Premier League, Champions League, national teams, of course, but Swansea, I think, have been really good. Obviously, Jordan Morris moving there is great for US soccer. I think Areola is going to be a really good addition if he does end up there as well. And I like the style of play. I like the philosophy under Cooper. They're just good young players. Hurahan's going to be a great loan signing. So I think Swansea, obviously, I think Norwich will get it done just about. And then they'd like to go for the playoffs, looking at Brentford or Bournemouth. I think those are the 3 or 4 teams I fancy to come up to the Premier League. Areola, what's his position? As he plays kind of out wide or as a sort of attacking midfielder centrally. Versatile. He's really impressive. He's been a mainstay for the US national team the last 3-4 years now, and great experience. I'd say he's a bit different to some of the other US players. He played for Club Tijuana and Liga MX as a very young player, and has obviously moved to DC United. And yeah, really good player. Very technically very good. Can see a pass, and had a couple of bad injuries, but yeah, he'll be good. He'll be good. All right, that's it. Game over. Liverpool won 3-1 against Tottenham Hotspur. which obviously improves Liverpool's standing in the table. Live look at the table. They moved up to, if my math is correct, 37 points. They're into the top 4 again. Only 4 points off the top. Man City have a game in hand of them, though. So big night for Liverpool. Not a great night for Tottenham, of course, with Harry Kane being injured as well. So we'll keep you up to date with the latest news on NBCSports.com with that. Thanks for joining me. All I've got to say is any final questions, feel free to get them in the comments. It's been a pleasure to have a chat and a drink. So cheers to all of you across the world. Appreciate it. Gavino Lopez says, when is the next watch along? Gavino, my friend, we're gonna have some more. We did it over the summer, Project Restart, and had a couple this season. Not sure exactly which game yet, but if you follow me on Twitter at JPW_NBC Sports, we'll be promoting it. Next couple of weeks, there's some big games coming up, isn't there, with Liverpool, Man City, and a few others. So I'm sure we'll have one for those big games. And I really appreciate you guys joining me. And as I said, the whole aim of this is to get together in this crazy time where we can't go down the pub and watch it with mates and watch it with family and friends. So this is a nice way, I think, to watch the game, answer some questions, have some analysis, and have some fun and a bit of a laugh in the chat. So, yeah, thanks for your questions. Hamad Karimi says, what are the odds of Liverpool winning the title this season? They've just gone up. This is a big performance tonight. So I think the second or third favourites after Man City, and maybe they're neck and neck with Man United to win it. Sergio, take care. Nice watching along. Thank you very much. Gavino, thank you. Ari Stevens, thank you very much. See you next time. Appreciate it, mate. Tad as well. Thanks for answering the questions. Thanks for your questions, Tad. I really appreciate it. Look forward to chatting with you very soon. And thumbs up all round. Well, thanks, guys. I think all that's left for me to say is, from myself, Joe Prince-Wright, the lead soccer right editor at NBC Sports' ProSoccerTalk. It's been a pleasure to host this watch-along. Liverpool 1, Tottenham 3, entertaining, lively game end-to-end. Injuries, VAR goals ruled out. A great comeback performance from Liverpool as they look really good in attack. And as I said, at ProSoccerTalk and NBC Sports, we'll have you covered with lots of analysis and reaction from this. I've really enjoyed it. And thank you very much for joining us. And I'll speak to you all very soon. Cheers, guys. Take care out there. Look after yourselves. And enjoy the Premier League action wherever you are in the world and across the USA. Thanks, guys.